Welcome everyone. Let's wait for Epi. I requested. Welcome everyone. Hello Tony. I think Epi is finding if she can accept me. Epi, I invited you again. Hi Haneen. Hello everyone. Waiting for Epi to join. I invited her, but it seems that she's new. Isn't able to join. Why? Invite again. Epi, I invited you again. Okay, finally.
Hello, Queen Rania.
Hello, Epi.
How are you?
I'm good. And you?
I'm very well, thanks. Lovely to see you.
Lovely to see you too.
Yeah. Sorry about
Long
the technical glitch. You know how it is with technology, but managed to get there. Because initially I wanted to use my my laptop, but then I realized that it's just a lot easier and less fuss to use my phone.
Yeah.
Yeah,
especially with the live and the Instagram functions. It's much better through the mobile app. So yeah.
Excellent.
Okay, yeah. So it's 5 p.m. Your time, right?
Correct. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Just got after. Yes.
Yeah. So
how's your day been?
it was good. It's good. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we have like moderate weather nowadays. It's like springy weather. So yeah.
Well, that's good for you.
We've got nothing near later on. Yeah, it's good. Yeah, it's good to have.
Ours is not anywhere near spring. It's still very much winter. So
yeah. We will have weather change, but nowadays we are having this current situation.
Yeah.
So excellent. Let's start our live. Yeah. Okay, so welcome everyone to new live. This time it's in English, and I'm hosting my friend Epi. Epi is a vocational strategist, a motivational speaker, lifestyle coach, and entrepreneur. Through the purpose alignment, she helps connect individuals to their life mission in order to create and live the dream lifestyle they desire. Her passion is to inspire better habits for success in the lives and businesses of individuals. She currently serves as, you're currently doing a lot of things as a multi-potentialite.
Yes.
We talked about this yesterday, and I really enjoyed talking to you as always. And I'm so happy that I finally completed the book from A to Z, and I found a lot of wisdom inside it. And it's really beautiful to read a book and you know the person.
Yes.
This gives a lot of perspective, yes, and deep learning. So I will start with quotes, my favorite quotes from the book, and then we can take it from there.
Sure.
So, yeah. So a good idea implemented today is better than a perfect idea implemented tomorrow. If there's no enemy within, the enemy outside can do us no harm. There is no traffic jams beyond the extra mile. FAIL is another acronym for find another important lesson. Cherish your visions and your dreams as they are the children of your soul, the blueprint of your ultimate achievements. Thinking small is selfish, not a humility. Bigger impact and influence is needed. Have a vision that cannot be completed in one generation. Yeah, so this is great actually, and I found that you put inside the book the best of the best. The best thing that you learned from the whole self-development world and out of your experience. So yeah, and we can start from the story of the book. How did you, how the idea came to you, and the creative name of the book, Gravity. Gravity, the 7 keys to unlock your dream lifestyle. So yeah, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Rania. Queen Rania, as I call you always. It's an honor and it's a pleasure for you to have asked me to join you in this live. And I'm also honored to hear the feedback that you have mentioned about the book. I don't take it lightly at all. Every feedback, every positive response, every inspiration from people telling me that I've inspired them, I never take it for granted. So thank you so much.
You're welcome.
So first, as a multi-passionate entrepreneur, I don't just do one thing or two things or three things. I have so many passions that I like to pursue, and this is part of my ethos of even the motive behind Success Gravity, that don't limit yourself to just doing one thing or just being one thing in your lifetime. Times have changed and have given us the opportunity to pursue any gifts and talents and any desires that we have. Like if things are not working out in our lives, it's never too late for us to change and actually go after exactly what we want. Some people here on this live, you may have been working in a job for 5 years, 7 years, and you feel you're not appreciated and you feel it's not fulfilling you anymore. It's one of those things that you have to give yourself permission to find exactly what you want and go after it, because we just have just one lifetime and we can't afford to be wasting time trying to either please other people. I know with some, maybe in your families, they'll have wanted you to be a doctor, a lawyer, an accountant, and really that's not your passion. So you're doing it to fulfill other people's desires. But I'm here to help you and to remind you to release yourself, to go after your personal desires, because your life is your own. So for me, having all these multi-passionate desires, I was a dental hygienist and therapist over about a decade ago, and this is what I'd always wanted to do as a child. I always enjoyed myself, and I'm sure you remember reading some parts that I wrote in my book. Yeah. I won't give it all away because we want people to buy the book as well. But yeah, my childhood story about my passion, that I wanted to pursue dentistry and managed to do that. So as a dental hygienist and therapist, I worked in so many practices, and mainly in Harley Street, which is in Mayfair. For some of you that don't know Harley Street, this is a place where they've got medical practices, dental practices, and all these orthopedic surgeons, high end, because we get celebrities and high-end officials coming to get treated in Harley Street. So I worked there for a very long time and became a popular name. A lot of people used to fly, a lot of celebrities, obviously I can't disclose because it's confidential, but a lot of celebrities used to fly in from Australia, from America, some presidents, some people that we know, some famous singers, and they'll be saying, Epi, I came specifically for you. So the last time when you were away on holiday, I heard that you were away on holiday, I had to cancel everything and rebook my flight so that I'll come in when you were there. So for me, that's something I didn't take lightly. And I realized that I had reached the pinnacle of my success at the time that I was at that present moment. But then I started having a yearning for more. I knew that there was more out there. So they had just started in the UK allowing dental hygienists and therapists to have their own practice. So my friend and I, we decided, oh, why not do this? We're very popular. A lot of people love us. A lot of, patients and clients, they love us. Why don't we start our own thing? So we did. And that was very brave of us. I was really proud of us. Having a dental practice in the United Kingdom, in London, was a big deal. And we managed to do that. Unfortunately, the timing wasn't really good because it was just at the dawn of the recession, the first recession. So we managed to practice and do it well for like 2 years. And then we had to pack it up and sell it afterwards because of the downturn. But at that moment, I felt that, again, I'd reached the pinnacle of success. And then when I started just reflecting on, is this really, really what I want? I realized that there was more to it, because I wanted to be able to obtain financial freedom, time freedom, and location freedom, which, when I looked back, I realized that I had successfully managed to buy myself a job. So I went from job to job, and I was more like my own slave now. So I didn't have that time freedom to do what else I wanted to pursue. And I had to be located where the dental practice was, so I couldn't do other things. And financial freedom, it was fine because we're getting like good amounts of income. So that was fine. But I wanted all three. So I went back to school and studied a pre-MBA course and did marketing, IT, human resources, and really got to understand how business systems work. Because when we did our dental practice, we were good as practitioners. We were very, very good at our craft, but we were not good at business operators. So I realized that the two were different. And if you're able to get to that point in your life where you admit to yourself what's not working and why it's not working, then you can give yourself a chance for success. So one, realizing that I no longer wanted to be coming from having a boss to work for and being my own boss, but still being a slave to the job. I realized that, no, I wanted to pursue something different. So when I studied, I realized that a lot of people were asking me, what is your process? You're doing very well. You managed to travel the world. You managed to enjoy your job. How do you do it? So I decided, you know what? A lot of people want this information. So the best way to do it is put it in a book. And this is what birthed the dream of writing the book, Success Gravity, 7 Keys to Unlock Your Dream Lifestyle.
Amazing. Yeah, and you know what? The topic of defining your favorite lifestyle is not so let's say, obvious to us, especially to people who work in the job. I was always asking myself this question: what is my lifestyle? What does my day looks like without the job? Right. And when we have the chance to work from home in the past 2 years because of the coronavirus, I was re-establishing myself. Okay, what am I going to do with, for example, for a day working from home? So it was like, okay, what is the lifestyle? Yeah. So defining the lifestyle is something really a lot of people come across when they question their life and what do they really want. So yeah, and we can. How did the gravity thing? How did you the idea of the book name? How did it come to you?
Book name, Gravity. Okay, so the idea of the book name is threefold. Success Gravity. The gravity. When you think about gravity, a lot of people automatically assign it to something that's negative. So gravity is something that pulls you down, it pulls you back, you know, something that doesn't want you to be great. So it's always associated with something negative. However, if you think about it, you and I are able to have this communication because I'm sitting in a chair, you're sitting in a chair, we're grounded, you know, we're not out in space floating somewhere, you know. And if you go out to the kitchen to make yourself a cup of coffee, you're grounded, you're walking down, and you need that gravity. It's very essential. It's important in our lives. So it's to encourage divergent thinking, in the sense that don't always take what's presented to you. Because people say gravity is negative, negative, negative. How about looking at the positive side of gravity? That without gravity, we wouldn't be able to have a civil conversation and live our lives normally. So think different and be a critical thinker. Don't always take what's presented to you that way. And then also, because then you find that there's popular logic, there's status quo, there's conditioning, social hypnosis. If people say this is it, initially they said that the world was flat and everyone went with that. And now after facts, they were saying the world is round and people are going with that. Why not think for yourself? So gravity encourages you to think for yourself. And then secondly, with Sir Isaac Newton, he's the one that actually discovered gravity. He's the one that told us that. And we know that gravity in its simplest expression is like it's defined as a force that attracts objects, all other objects, to itself. So it's a central gravitational pull. It's a strong force, and you can draw parallels from the laws of attraction as well from there. And you know that if you work the laws and the principles of attraction, they actually work. So it's not just about believing them, but also working with them. So in essence, you work with gravity as opposed to working against it. And then lastly, gravity is an acronym for the 7 ingredients, or the 7 keys, as I call them, 7 keys that help to unlock your dream lifestyle. So G stands for goals, the goals that you set in your life that you want to achieve, long-term, short-term, medium-term. The R stands for, because there's important relationships in order to achieve success, relationships like your mentors, your peers, and, you know, even your bosses or anyone that you're shadowing. And then attitude is more of your belief system. If you think you can, you can. If you think you can't, you can't. And then vision is very important, because it's important for you to visualize where you want to be in order to create this dream lifestyle. You've got to see it in your mind first before you see it physically. Integrity talks about working within moral, legal, and ethical boundaries, because everyone wants to work with someone who's upright, someone who is working within integrity. Time management is very important. If you've got a project that you're doing, for example, building a house, you've got phase 1, phase 2, and you have to manage the time. So not only the time of how you've set your priorities, but also the time in terms of the timing. Like, you can't start building during the raining season. That's not going to work. So you've got to manage your time that way. And then Y stands for your contribution. So after you've achieved your level of success, it's very important to actually go back and help other people achieve their own level of success. So you pay it forward, you pass on the baton. You teach other people how to do what you've done, not only in your field, even in their different field, but to encourage other people to become successful as well. And success alone can be selfish, but when it becomes significant, that's when it's your contribution. That's what gives it that gravitas and that longevity as well. So that was the ethos behind the name Success Gravity.
Amazing. And we can start. Luckily, we are now still in January, so anyone who's still thinking about setting the goals for the rest of the year, or a plan, they will find useful information that we'll share now regarding the gravity and the success blueprint. So let's start with the goals part. And you mentioned the best part of having this CDA, the Chef Definite Aim, and let's define it, because this is through all my let's say readings of goals and goal settings, I found this the most powerful let's say tool in order to set goals. So yeah, you can talk about it.
I actually enjoyed it when you were feeding back to me yesterday more about the chief definitive aim, because obviously this is having your chief aim, like your main goal, your main reason, one, what you want to achieve, and then the main reason why you want to achieve it. For example, you can't, it makes more sense to say, I would like to get 10,000 followers on YouTube by the end of the first quarter. So everything you do, you're going to work towards that. You're going to find out how much, what marketing budget I need, how I'm going to reach the different channels I'm going to use, using your business model canvas, like looking at all the aspects of it and how you're going to do it. But you also need to make sure that it's a SMART goal. It's something that's specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time bound as well. So it's got to be realistic according to where you are in your life. But I would like you to contribute about the CDA as well, because I really liked it when you actually presented it yesterday to me.
Yeah, actually, when I told you about it, it was from a course that I took 2 months ago, and the trainer talked about that this Chef Definitive Aim is a concept invented by Napoleon Hill, and actually he I'm not sure what in what book or in what context he mentioned it, but the issue is that he was afraid of sharing this information with people, with everyone, because even people, when they know about the CDA thing, can use it because it's a very powerful concept, and if you apply it in its conditions, in a very if you apply it well, you will definitely achieve what you want. Because when you let's say put a goal that excites you and put a deadline, you will be excited enough in order to reach it. So the excitement, so the engine, you will be moved by the excitement of this aim. So for example, you mentioned the 10,000 followers, let's say, or subscribers, or let's say 1 million, because this 1 million followers will bring, let's say, definite amount of money, and this will excite me, and so I'm going through it, and this will accelerate the goal, let's say the goal wheel.
Yeah.
So this is what yeah, so this sticks inside me, and but the issue is that you need to find what's this excites you, what is the goal that excites you in order to yeah.
Because sometimes you find that people make goals that are not their own because they see someone else next door doing it. They take it as their goal, but then it doesn't work because it's not your own one. It doesn't excite you. You're actually now acting in competition and having that energy, having that, you don't know what structures and systems they have put in place to get to their goal. So it's good to do something that you like, that is going to really, really excite you. So I like the concept that you extracted from it with Napoleon Hill as well.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, it's about being authentic and having this real goal, not as you said, someone else's goals, just copying, because it's really easy to copy each other's when we are now in the social media era. So yeah.
Exactly.
And you also mentioned a very beautiful thing, which is having a picture of perfection. What is the picture of perfection look like in each area, and dividing the goals into short, medium, and long-term deadlines encompassing 5, 10, 50, 100, and 500 years plan. And this is really interesting because from here we can take it to a whole new next level. So if you can talk about this and have example like you mentioned today, it was really yeah, great.
Right. So it's good to have a picture of where do you want to be within a certain amount of time. So to short term is between 3 to 6 months. Like between now, January, it's right at the beginning, till June, what would you like to achieve? And then medium term would be 1 to 3 years. Long term would be 5 years and over. So in every area of your life, within my book, I've also written like to look at the wheel of life. So you're looking at relationships, you're looking at your physical health, your spiritual health, all those areas. You need to actually have short-term, long-term, and medium-term plans. And beyond that, it's good to have 100-year plans, 500-year plans, which a lot of people would not have heard those concepts before, because we're now talking about the long range. We're talking about succession plan and generational plans. So whatever plans and goals that you have, they have to have that element for it to be impactful for the world. For example, if you look at Ford Motors, they have 100 plan and 500 year plans, because they wanted to continue being an establishment, an organization. Even if we look at Junior Chamber International as well, JCI, which we're both part of, it has those long 100-year. We just celebrated 100 years about 3-4 years ago. But then that was someone's vision, and it's still ongoing today. Like, we're able to go around the world and make different impact, meet people, and like help and make a change within society, because someone had that dream and that vision and that 500-year plan. So it's to challenge your thinking beyond the short term, medium term, long term. Think generationally. What is it that you want the generations to reap from your own goals that you have put in place? I'll give you an example of my own organization, Step Up Youth, which again is one of my multi-passionate things that I do. I established Step Up Youth in 2020 during the pandemic, or at the dawn of the pandemic. And so if we look at, let's say, the 3 to 6 months goals that I'd have at that time, it would have been registering the organization, doing all the paperwork, and getting board members within that time period, opening a bank account, community account, which is what is required. And then 1 to 3 years is more of, we're getting funding within that time, starting projects, sharpening them, and creating accredited courses. Because why we were established, it was to develop, to provide development opportunities for young people in education, employment, and enterprise. So those are our main focuses. And within that 1 to 3 year period, we want to make sure we've done that. And we've already started. We've managed to get funding from really excellent funders, in the sense that they're very meticulous and fussy. So they don't just give you money. We're talking about the European Social Fund. We're talking about education skills funding agencies. These are like big bodies that they scrutinize everything. You have to dot every I and cross every T. So I was really glad that our organization was able to be funded, and they came back to us again and said, we've got extra money, let's give you, can you do this project again? It has so much impact. You managed to get young people to find apprenticeships, to find jobs and work. We can see the results. So what I relish about that is that we started off with the big guys. So once the big guys see, once everyone else sees that we've got the endorsement and the support, the financial support from the big people, it's now easier for us to continue having funding. So that was within the 1 to 3 year planning. And then 5-year planning, what we're realizing, because we're constantly trying to see how we can evolve and expand. So we realized that there are a lot of care levers within the system that just fall through the system. So a lot of people that were in care, either they were in foster care, or they were adopted, or they just don't have the common nucleus family. But once they turn 18, they're expected to just be in the world. They're just left out there bare. And so they need something like supported accommodation, where they're taught life skills and where they're taught these employability skills that we teach the other young people. So within 5 years, we want to have definitely started our supported living accommodation. And from there, so it's not just one accommodation. We're going to be buying more properties so that we can house more young people within this vulnerable criteria as well. And then the 500-year plan would be to expand to different countries, to make this global and to become a global charity. So it's that kind of thinking, and it's almost like we will sort of franchise our organization in different places. But
I feel this is the CDA. I feel this is the CDA for you, which is expanding and have. Yeah, because I get goosebumps when you take expanding, and because it's very noble project, and I really love it. We talked about it yesterday, so yeah, it's very beautiful.
Yeah, but just to be encouraged to sort of go, not just to plan for the short term, but to make sure that you're planning ahead. 500. So even when I die, the organization is going to continue, and really it's not about me but the impact.
After a long time. Yeah,
exactly. Exactly. So that's what it was about.
And what else we have under the goals?
I remember, Rania, you asked me about how I got to write the book in the first place with my coach. Coach story. You're asking me yesterday, so I'll just share it briefly. But it is important so anyone on the live might be able to get something. Hi, people on the live. Oh my gosh, I can see my friends there. Hello, everyone.
Hi, everyone. Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining.
Thank you so much for joining us. So yes, I'm going to share my story. So just for me to get to where I got to in terms of writing my book, I had just what I realized was that back and forth, like I tried writing my book for I'd say almost 6 years, just writing a little bit here, a little bit there, asking myself, am I good enough? Who's going to read the book? Is it even going to make any sort of impact at all? So with that fear, sometimes that just paralyzes you to inertia, and you don't get to do anything from it. So what I did is I hired a book coach, to help me to get everything out of me. And at one of the sessions, he asked me, okay, Epi, can you close your eyes and tell me what you see? And I thought, oh my God, what is this? He's getting into some woo-woo stuff, and I don't like woo-woo stuff. I don't do woo-woo stuff. What's all this about? But I just played along because I'm the one that needed the help, and I'd actually hired him, so I'd used my money for that. So I was like, okay, let's put it to good use. So it's like, close your eyes. What do you see? And at that time, I had just been on a Caribbean cruise. So it's gone to Mexico, Jamaica. I was feeling the vibes. It was like all so exciting. And so when I closed my eyes, the first thing I saw was a ship and water, because I was still within that mode. This is now like 3 days after I'd come from my cruise. So that's all I could see. I was still, even the floor was still sort of moving for me, because then I still was in that sort of element. So when I closed my eyes, I saw a ship that was by an empty pebbled beach. And the beach was dark. There was only one light in the distance. There were empty, abandoned houses there and flats. And so there was no one there. And on the boat, there was a big rope that was tying the boat there, and a thick rope and a thick nail that was there. So you asked me, okay, so what is the boat wanting to do? What is the ship wanting to do? And I said, oh, it's waiting for rest, it's waiting for rejuvenation, it's waiting for instructions. And then we went deeper and deeper into it, and I was getting really annoyed. I was like, why have I wasted my money on this coach? This is the worst thing ever. So we kept exploring, and he's like, okay, so what will happen if that anchor, if that nail and that rope is pulled out? So when he said that, I still had my eyes closed, and then I felt a huge weight lift off of my shoulders, and I thought, this is weird, but I felt free, So later on, we realized that this boat and this ship was me. I was there. I was scared. I was afraid to go out there and share my message. I was afraid to write my book, thinking, do I have good ideas? Is anyone going to read it? Is it going to help? And am I even qualified to write this book? So once we did that, that was the end of the session. And I was still, 50-50 about the session that I'd had with my coach. But then the following morning, something really interesting happened, because I was reading a book by Paulo Coelho, and I read where it says that a ship is safe in the harbor, but that is not the purpose of a ship. And oh my gosh, Rania,
okay.
I started writing and writing.
The woo stuff works.
I wrote stuff doesn't work. I don't do woo. So I started writing and writing and writing that book. And within 6 weeks, I had finished writing that book.
Wow.
So something that took me 6 years back and forth, a coach was able to come and pull out of me in 6 weeks, because it was almost like he opened a tap for me to actually start writing freely and flowing without judging myself, without being worried about what others would think. I knew it was an assignment that I needed by God to do within that time, and I didn't want to be disobedient. So, but it helped me because it sort of opened the faucets, and then I just started writing. No more writer's block. Everything was just flowing. But obviously, with the book, the process is, after you've written everything initially, it goes off to the editors, and then that's a whole other process. So not the whole thing takes 6 weeks. It just took me 6 weeks to bring out of me what I had been going back and forth. But the coach really did actually help me in that kind of way. And now today, I'm actually a book coach for other people as well.
Yeah.
So actually,
this is what I wanted to ask about. You were very inspired, and you became a book coach,
yes,
a book writing coach. But do you do this woo-woo stuff with them?
I don't do the woo-woo stuff with them, but I'm able to help them. Like we were saying, like if you've got certain traumas, like really getting in touch with your younger self and trying to find out that someone in your past, like maybe a teacher when you're younger, they told you you'd never amount to anything, you're not good enough. And then those voices are carried into adulthood. So those are the things that we explore. And it normally helps people. They're like, Epi, you're not just my book coach, you're my therapist. I should be paying you double. I'm like, okay, I know.
Because you went through this, and you know the impact of it on the whole process of just being yourself. So you can, you're helping from your own experience and from your understanding. And we will come across this subject later on. But okay, so let's continue. So Epi, some people really question, so do we need to plan every year? So if we have like a plan that is not, we are just ongoing plan, and it is not, and it's working. Do we need to plan every year, or just fine tuning and seeing what our progress?
It's good to have a progress. Once you've done the planning, there's obviously annual planning. So if you're looking at your medium-term goals between 1 to 3 years, that automatically goes into the category where you have to look at it every year. It's always best practice to be analyzing your goals every quarter. So even if they're your 10-year goals, like how far are you from the metric that you said that you want to achieve? So continuous assessment helps you to know whether you need to change direction. So you never change the goal. You can change the pathway that you're going to use to get to the goal, but you don't change the goal. And assess what's working, what's not working. What resources do I have? Has anything changed? You know, the pastel, like anything affecting my goals, anything like that I need to change strategies. So it's very important to just get into the discipline and the habit of goal setting. And why I like goals rather than resolutions is that the goals are your own, and you have control of telling yourself you don't need to quit because it's not working. You can rest, you can take a break, and then pick up later once you've rejuvenated yourself. So a goal is something that you don't have to just wait for January to set. I can set a goal maybe even from February to say by April, this is what I'd like. So you're in control, and it's your narrative as your goal, rather than waiting for resolutions that normally it's peer pressure. People say, oh, I want to lose weight. Everyone just goes and fills up the gym, and then within 2 weeks, no one is there. It's all empty, ghost town. So resolutions don't work because of that, and they don't have a big enough reason why, and you don't have the resources to continue it. But with a goal, you actually are in control, and you can always stop and start as you need to in order to achieve the goals. So yeah, it is best practice to have your annual goals and then just reassess them every quarter and see where you are.
Yeah. And do we need to, let's say, have a written plan, detailed, let's say, written plan in addition to the vision board? So we talked about this, and I saw you sent me the. I liked how you were giving classes for having young people doing their vision board from young age. This is very powerful for them, even though they don't know necessarily what are they going exactly to do in their lives. But it's good, let's say, habit to have it since early age.
Absolutely, yes. So we enjoyed doing the vision boards with our young people, and they'd never done this. It was a different, so excited to take certain pictures, either pictures of cars, of money, or even quotes, like motivational quotes, to keep them going, for the year or for the foreseeable future. So vision boards are very important because they create that mental image picture that helps to lock in whatever goal that you want to set. So for example, if someone wants to buy, I'll go basic here, a red Nissan Sunny, once you have a picture of it, you can put it on your fridge or put it in your bathroom, your bedroom, or wherever you'll see it. You'll constantly see it to remind you, and that way your subconscious starts getting to work to find out how it can get you that Nissan Sunny. So it's not magic, and it doesn't just happen overnight, like, okay, I've got my picture here, so boom, my Nissan Sunny is coming. The same concept that you find that once you put that picture before you start seeing all of a sudden on the roads, you start seeing red Nissan Sunnies, because you've made it clear in your mind. The vision is clear. You start seeing more of what you want to see. So that helps to draw you closer to your goal. And then you sit down with yourself and say, okay, in order to get this, do I need to do extra work? Do I need to do an extra side hustle? Do I need to do more hours at work in order to save to buy this Nissan Sunny? So the vision board, it works more with your right brain. So it's more of your creative brain, and that locks it in. And then it's also equally important to do to write it down, so that you've got all your procedures. You look through again your business model canvas. Do I have the right resources, mentorship, anyone that can help me to access this goal? So writing it down also helps to cement it, and that works more of your left brain. So I like to encourage, like, my clients to do both, which is the vision board and then also writing it down. Yeah, you just make it clear, like a sat-nav, a satellite navigation system. You say where you are, and then you say where you want to get to, and then the steps that you need to be able to go there.
Yeah, and you will, when you have it on a document, you will be able to add on it later on, and you can write descriptions, and you can write a story. Yeah, this is something I will do this, add it to my plan. Yeah, so this is for goals. I think we share the most insights, and I hope that everyone will find it useful. And let's move to the relationships. And you shared a lot of analogies and wisdom regarding relationships. You're free to talk about anyone, but I love the tree analogy when you describing relationships. So if you'd like to talk about it, yeah.
Yeah, okay. So with relationships, it's important to have self-awareness. Like, what relationship do you have with yourself? Do you love yourself? Do you respect yourself? Do you listen to your own voice, or you wait for other people to tell you what to do in your life, to tell you the goals and the things that you should go after? Self-awareness is very, very important. Once you understand yourself, it's easier then to understand others as well. So I like the color psychology that we normally do as well in JCI, where you're studying colors, again, not woo woo, but getting into like blue is typically someone that is like on time, they're meticulous. You find your accountants that like to go through
reliable,
everything, all the fine details. They're a blue character, and they're normally calm as well, but very calculative. And then a green person is normally like the nice person, someone who's like pleasant to be around. You know, they're agreeable and they help you to achieve certain tasks. And then you find the yellow person is like, oh, sunshine, happy, everything's happy go lucky, you know. And then the red person is a very dominant leadership kind of person. So it's good to understand that with all of us, we've got certain amounts of colors within us, but then there's always a dominant one. So if, for example, I'm talking to a red person who is like very, very dominant, they don't want stories like the yellow person. If I'm yellow, I can't come to a red person and start talking stories and going right their way around. They just want get to the point. Has this been done? Delegate, you know. And then a blue person, the finer details, they want all the paperwork in place, you know. So once you know who you are and then who you're relating to, it's a lot easier to manage your relationships. So you're not wasting your time, especially in the work environment. You're not wasting your time giving certain qualities of yourself to someone who won't appreciate it. So yeah, a red person, straight to the point, do what you need to do. A green person, you can do group work with them. You can give them any task and they'll be happy to do it. They'll ask you for extra things, you know. Yellow person, happy go lucky. And then yeah, that's how you go. In terms of relationships as well, it's always important, like you asked me to talk about the tree analogy. There are three parts of a tree that are there. You find that you've got the roots, you've got the branches, and you've got the leaves. So you find that it's important to put people in different categories according to the tree. So the root kind of people are the people that they don't necessarily need praise for what they do in your life, but they're very, very important. So people like your mentors, and maybe if you've got good relationships with your parents or your any relative, but they don't need credit for your success. They're holding things in place as an anchor underneath, and they're not seen. That's why they're beneath the ground, but they're very important because they're your support system, supplying all the nutrients and oxygen to keep you going. And then you get the leaves. The leaves are the ones that they can make the tree look pretty or whatever, but then when the wind starts blowing, they eventually fall off and they leave, and that's why they're called leaves. So sometimes you find in your life there's some friends that maybe there during your success days, your sunshine days, they're there to celebrate with you or to spend your money with you. They're there for you. But when the wind blows, when things become difficult for you, maybe when you need them even the most, they will shake off and leave. So you need to also understand that there are people like that in your life, and then you put them in that category. And then there are also branches. Branches are a bit stronger than the leaves. They won't just leave anytime, but under certain pressure, they're able to sort of
to bend.
So if things become too difficult for you in your life and they can't handle it, they will break off. So it's very important to understand that when you're relating to people, who are the leaves in my life, who are the branches, and who are the roots? Because if you mix it up, you'll have big problems that way. The branches as well, they can be seen like scaffolding on a building. They're there for a season. We'd say that people are there for a season, a reason, and a lifetime. You know, the branch people, like when they're putting up a building, there's always scaffolding on the outside. So when they're busy and they're doing this, but once the building stands, the scaffolding comes off. That means they've finished their purpose in your life. That means that person is a seasoned person. You know, you're not going to try and hold on to them because their part in your journey is done. So you let go of them and you wish them well. You don't wish them bad and say, oh, why aren't you still helping me in my life? I helped you. I did this. So once you're able to understand that someone is there for a reason, a season, a lifetime, and they can be a root a branch or a leaf, you find that life becomes a lot easier that way.
Yeah, and from here we can, from understanding and setting people under those categories, or we can have healthy boundaries. So, yeah, because we sometimes we don't have boundaries because, as you said, we don't have this this analogy in our mind, and we expect that all people are under the same. And it's not a bad thing that we have this classification, because this is life actually, and it's wise to understand it and setting everything under under clear, let's say, rules, let's say. So, and you also mentioned very important thing under the relationships section, which is the network. That your network is your net worth.
Yes.
And you mentioned this. I don't know if it's a survey or. I think it's a survey, which is just 6 people. You are 6 people away from everyone else in the world, and with the social media, they became 4.
Yeah,
absolutely. So this is very powerful opportunity for everyone. But it's about learning how to use this, let's say, treasure, because you can choose mentors and coaches and every. And any resource that you want through this, but we can you can share with us, for example, how can anyone find the right coach in order to, and what's the benefit of having a coach rather than, let's say, figure everything by yourself.
Right.
Because the concept of mentoring, it's not very old, and it's not so it's not new, and it's not very old. It's like it's spreading, I think, and
yes.
It's becoming more with social media. So yeah.
So the concept of mentorship and coaching is very important, because a coach or a mentor is someone that's been where you want to go. So that means they've seen the obstacles and are able to go over the obstacles, and they know that this is the shortcut, the easier way to get to success. So instead of actually having to reinvent the wheel, once you get someone like a mentor in your life, they're able to shortcut your own process to get to success, and they're able to help you see the bigger picture as well, because sometimes you're seeing small in your mind, whereas they're able to see that, no, these are the different possibilities that you can actually achieve greater than what you're thinking. You're thinking too small, you're playing too small. A coach is able to really bring out the best in you. In terms of we're 6 degrees away, it's a concept that if, for example, I want to touch with Michelle Obama, I actually know 2 people that work with her. One is a young person, and then the other one is one of I'm also part of a board I'm a board member of one of these international organizations, and they do a lot of work with Michelle Obama. So obviously I'm not going to want to get in touch with her just so that I can say, hi Michelle, how are you? Or just so I can say to people that I know her, she knows me. Obviously, if there's a project that I know that is going to be beneficial to her and to myself or my organization, I'll just call these people and say, guys, can you help set up a meeting, or what's the procedure? But then in that case, I'm just 2 degrees away from Michelle Obama. And it's the same thing with anyone else you want to get in touch with. You can find that on social media, on LinkedIn. You've got common, and then that other person knows somebody else. So it's amazing. It's a very fascinating concept to know that we're only divided by 4 degrees away from the person that we want to be able to communicate with. So relationships are very important. They're the new currency. Yeah. Money really isn't currency, but relationships are the currency of the world right now. And also that's why we say that your network is your net worth, because if you go either for a networking meeting, as long as people know you've written down your vision, they know your vision, they know your goals, they're able to say, oh, let me introduce you to someone who's actually going to help you in this way. So definitely networking helps in that way. Mentorships and coaches as well. What's important with that is, for example, I've got one of these young people that I'm mentoring, and he's starting his own entrepreneurial pursuit. So I was telling him to go and shadow someone who is in this business himself. And from that, he was able to create a partnership that helped him. If it's someone, for example, that wants to work for a corporate conglomerate, maybe they want to work for KPMG or work for anything, it's very important for someone to actually take initiative to go and either volunteer to shadow someone, and then you just never know, if you're good with them, the very first position that comes, they'll remember that, oh no, there's this person, a young mentee that I've been mentoring, let's offer this person the interview and the position. And then there are other people I've known who've done this shadowing, and they've been able to have like the bosses create a position for them because they've been that good. So it's important for you to actually be someone who's always in relationships with people in that kind of way, healthy relationships with people, and then also finding coaches that can introduce you to opportunities and that can help to shortcut your way of success as well.
Yeah, and I also find that some people sometimes, when they find, let's say, someone that they know that will help them, but they're not offering, let's say, coaching, or they're not offering mentoring, but they approach them and ask them, are you willing, for example, to mentor me on this and that? And I found that really this is a smart idea that not a lot of people know about, so I like to mention it in order to it's like just approach and try, and you will let's say you will what we say, you will subtract a lot of time, not subtract, let's say you will eliminate a lot of trial and error. Yeah, you will eliminate a lot of trial and error and uncertain unnecessary time. So yeah. And
also some of these places, they provide references for you. Like a reference is very important. If you, for example, you've gone and done some voluntary work somewhere, you can get a reference from them to say this person actually did this work with us for this amount of time. You can get a character reference, or depending on what you're volunteering in, they could actually say that your skills were good and they'll be transferable and useful for this position that you're applying for. So networks, definitely don't sleep on them. Very important.
Yeah. And the final thing in relationships, which I found it powerful, and we always hear about this: don't play small, don't play small. And so when I asked you how do we know if we are playing it small, and you can answer this because it's really interesting.
Okay, so you're playing small when you can easily hit your target. It's just easy to hit. You say, I'm setting this goal for myself, and you keep hitting every single target that you set for yourself without actually looking back to realize, has this stretched me? Have I grown in any way? Have I gained anything other than this target that I'm hitting? For example, I can say, okay, in this quarter I want to earn 10 pounds from my work, and I'll hit it. Really, that's not a goal, because that's not stretching me. It's something that I would have been able to do anyway. So it means that you're playing small because you're staying within your own comfort zone and you're not being stretched. But when you actually hit a goal, and I call them big, hairy, ugly goals, those big ones that you know that you can't achieve by yourself, those are the ones that you're supposed to aim for. Because sometimes people focus on the destination, but really the journey is the success, because it's in becoming. Who are you becoming along the way? And also, once you set a big goal, it helps you to grow into that person you need to become in order to achieve that goal. So definitely set really high targets for yourself. Otherwise, when you're playing too small, one, you're not serving anyone. Two, you're not growing, so you might as well not set it as a goal. It's just a wish that's maybe coming true because you've managed to. But then when we're talking about goals, they have to be really, really big goals that you can look back and measure to say, before I set this goal, this is where I was, and then this is where I am now. So make sure it's something that stretches you.
Yeah. Now we're about to. We have until now 1 hour, and we will continue in a new live.
Okay.
Yeah. So I will end this because it's only 1 hour, and then we will open another one. Okay.
Okay.
To continue. Okay.